Okay, they can hear you. Hold on. I just need to turn you up.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. That might be a little too loud, but let me know, chat.
All right. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Okay. And then let's see. Oh, they said perfect. All right, sick. All right.
That's what I'm talking about. See, we're making things happen. I love walking to chats and just doing a call. Discord is an awesome technology, actually.
I love Discord.
It's actually perfect. It's incredible.
Uh, so what I was actually about to do was I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier about asking people what they wanted for
Yeah,
content.
let me retweet what you just put out there so more people know
Okay.
that we're gonna talk. I
Yo,
just
Kellen, thank you
retweeted.
so much for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate it. So what I was about to do right now is um, I'm actually just about to read off some tweets like of people
Yeah,
want.
so I saw your tweet, but I didn't really read all the responses. I'm actually super curious.
Yeah, I skimmed through them. Now I'm about to like I can put you on screen share so we can look at that together. And now
Okay, sure.
I can let me turn it on my stream now. Cause dude, I couldn't believe it. I was playing Ultimate and I was just like, dude, no wonder why so many new people want to play this game instead of Melee. Melee is like super hard compared to this. And it's like
Like the
Ultimate
hardest. It's so hard.
and that's not to put down like Ultimate or Smash 4 or anything. It's just like the shit you have to learn in Melee is actually kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most ridiculous game ever made.
Yeah.
And I'm actually kind of surprised in a way that we have so many players sometimes because you
I
look at, let's
know.
say, like you look at like the Brood War scene, and that game's also significantly like it's so hard, and that game is like mostly people watch the game, but very few people actually play it, you know.
Yeah,
Whereas we still have decent numbers, so it's kind of shocking in a way
I know. And
that
it makes
people
me
even do
it
it.
makes me happy that there's still like that many numbers. And especially like since they all aren't good yet and like majority of them are just like low and mid-level players, but they're still here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think our tournament structures and a lot of the way we are organized as a competitive scene do us any favors,
Mhm.
but I do think that basically your fundamental question right now is actually maybe the most important question to ask right now in the scene because we're about to have a whole bunch of people come in,
I
a
know.
whole bunch of people exposed to melee, and we're over here going like, our game's dope, but
Right.
like
How do you
we
get
don't really have
into
a
it? How like where do you even start? And I was thinking, I was like, when Ultimate came out, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put a hold on the melee content because like it's gonna just be overshadowed by Ultimate and whatever. But like, no, it's more people are gonna see melee now,
yeah.
and there's gonna
Every-
be a group of people that want to like join melee and want to play it.
our test this next year will not be will the game grow, because it will. Like both melee and ultimate are going to grow, and actually we're going to be much larger than we were in the past. No matter how incompetent we are,
I agree.
it will grow, but it's going to be how well we retain. Right, something that we've been really bad at. People always like to say that no one quits Smash, but what they always forget is that no one quits Smash once they're into it. Right,
Yeah.
like what people do is they go to one tournament and never go to another one again, or go to two
Hmm.
tournaments, never go to one again, or even worse, never go to a tournament because they get so intimidated by the whole thing.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
definitely think a piece on going to your first tournament and dealing with going on to because that's like the main thing I hear. Like I'll scroll through like Twitter threads and all this stuff like the melee versus ultimate like debates and they're just like, well, I don't want to play melee because I just go 0-2 at those tournaments and it's
Mm.
like too hard and stuff like that.
It's funny you mentioned that because I think the market from the TOing angle hasn't responded to how successful Arcadians are. Right, like a few years back, we brought back the Arcadian concept, which was first invented by our good friend DJ Mirror and Kira down in SoCal, and it became really popular. Right, but people forgot why it was popular, and they don't really understand why people like it. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason is because a tournament format, which is the one we operate right now, where Hungry Box, Armada, Mango play the worst person in the room first round,
Right.
is a horrific tournament format. Like, it is literally miserable for
Yeah.
everyone involved. It's bad for the top player. It's bad for the new player. It's like the fact that we stream that slaughter and embarrass them is
I
like even
was
worse.
literally just saying that. So I do sub analysis, and I have like 240 subs. Whenever I do sub analysis, I get like 5 people. I'm just like, dude, where are you guys VODs? And it was just like, oh, I don't have any VODs. And if I do have
Right.
a VOD, it's like me versus Leffen, and it's just like I can't help you with that.
Yeah,
It's,
it's actually frustrating because people are like, oh, why do people stick around in locals and not go to majors? And it just make complete sense.
mm-hmm.
If you're bad, you go to locals, and that's actually the if you look at the use case of most Smash players don't actually go to the majors, right?
Right.
It's maybe they go to the one near them, maybe they go to one a year, but most of them do is they just go to locals over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because when they go to majors, what happens is they get matched up with, well, you, KJH,
Yeah.
and then they lose,
I
and
know.
then they go to losers.
I
They
do.
have like they have one match. That's it. They get one real match.
It hurts. I know. I know.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like there's not. What do you have like any ideas on how to fix that? The only thing I can think of is making the two worst players play each other first and then play Mango. But that's usually what like most tournaments or most brackets do now.
So I think I do know, and it's
C15.
stuff I'm working on. But basically, what Smash really needs is a ranking system that is applied to not just the top 100, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in a subjective sense, but literally everyone ever.
That'd be cool.
And what that results in is much like Smash Ladder, which I think is actually somehow a more welcoming experience than our tournament scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you get people playing in bronze tournaments and silver tournaments, and people are actually matched up with people that they can like have a genuine match against, right? Like ones where they can have fun.
Right.
I think that's like the true solution for this, like making our tournaments a matchmaking procedure, not just a who is the best experiment,
Right.
because that's really not what we're trying to optimize for. Really, tournaments aren't only about finding out who's the best. It's providing the most value to each attendee and making sure they feel good about going to the event.
Hmm. And it's crazy because like this is stuff that I never it like because it's not an issue for me, so I didn't bother like even paying attention to it. Cause like, um, it what is it? Cause you know like how they have VIP sections and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
tournaments probably need to cater more towards the lower level and mid level players instead of the top level players. Cause the thing is,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna show up regardless.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you guys' job, and frankly, the top level in Smash, especially now the Ultimates come out, like the amount of money that's being made at the top level isn't that bad anymore. Like it
Mm-hmm.
genuinely isn't. Like the whole Smash's poverty crap just needs to go. We make more money than any other fighting game. Like us as like from the community people, from the TOs to the players, like number 50 in Melee gets paid more than number 50 in any fighting game you list, and number 10 in Melee makes more money than number 10 in any fighting game you list, and number 1 in Melee makes more money than any fighting game you list. And you can
Uh-huh.
say the same thing about Ultimate. Like, and sure, a lot of that money is through streaming and through other methods and whatever, but the point is that like we've catered to that. It's fine. What's the bigger problem is keeping that sustainability by having an active player base who is willing to show up to keep this all afloat.
Mm-hmm. Definitely agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's like a format. That's the when I said we're not doing any favors with our tournament format. That's part of it, but I think that's not only it, right? Like you can't just do that and it fixes everything. We
Yeah,
also
yeah, of
need
course.
like things to link people at. Have you ever gone to I think it's called Melee.guru?
No, can someone link me? Or
I
can you
wanna
link me?
I wanna hire this guy. I wanna like pay this man or woman or whoever it was who made this website.
I feel like I've heard of it.
Show it to the stream so it could blow
Yeah,
their
yeah,
mind.
yeah. If I see it, if someone links it to me.
Show it to the stream so it could blow their mind.
Melee Guru.
Melee.guru.
Have you guys heard of this?
No one's heard of this, and it's like literally absurdly sick. You will click around and be shocked.
Let's see. I'm opening it now on stream. Guides and resources. What?
Literally click all these things and you'll be blown away.
Okay, hold on. Let's take a look. See, I've literally never heard of this. Oh, this is like, holy moly. Is this what I think it is?
Click all the links.
I'm clicking. I don't know why my computer's being slow. My computer isn't working.
It's not working for. I think Giphy Cat might be down.
All right, whatever. Guides and resources. Video. Yeah, this is good.
This is good.
And yeah, people in my chat are saying they've never seen this.
Go to the full tech skill list. Go back to that part. That one's crazy. And the tech skill challenges are even crazier.
Let me see. Full tech skill list. What the fuck?
Click them all. Click them all. Click them all. It's fucking nuts.
This is crazy. Are you looking at?
It's crazy. Kalindi, it's crazy.
I had no idea this was a thing. Oh wait, is this just Marth?
He only made it for Marth.
Oh.
I don't know who made it. But the fundamental of what, like, the fact that
I
he
see.
only made, yeah. But still, like,
yeah,
the full tech skill list works for every character, actually.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Okay. I see now. All right, Marth players, you guys have something.
Click tech skill challenges.
Where is that? Oh no, someone just subbed. Yo, Game Boy SSPM, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Tech skill challenges. Let's see. All right, let me see like the hard challenge.
You know, a few blur dashes in there. Okay.
Oh, okay. Dude, this is crazy.
It's crazy. It's actually also click the he didn't get a lot done in terms of matchups, but click the matchup one. Go to matchups. Go to matchups.
Matchups.
I dare you.
Fox. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
You guys see this? I need to read this. I had no idea.
This site's dumb good. Like dumb good. I don't even know who made it, but whoever made it, please, I will pay you.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know where I'd get the money for it, but I want to pay you.
That's amazing. Like, me and like my friend Jacket Cole, we do something similar. Like, here, let me show you really quickly. If I can pull it up. So we have this. We have a Google Drive.
Yeah.
Of Fox versus like all the characters, and we go in here and it's like stuff you don't do. And then there's just GIFs of like these situations over and over again for like visual learners.
Yes.
Like me. And like it'd be amazing if this could be like turned into an app so everyone could have access to it. Stuff like that, but and then like he wrote down like
High Loves You says SAT Pure Drop is the creator. Someone get me into contact. Oh, Twitter. Okay, there you go. I already.
Oh, nice.
Internet's too fast.
Nice.
I need to talk to this human being and give them my respect.
Dude, I had no idea.
I will. I mean, I don't think Pure Drop understands. Like, I've never talked to. I didn't even know who made it. That was the problem.
Like, if I probably would have banged Marth if this was here when I joined.
I want this for every character.
I know.
And with top players and everyone contributing, like, this is such an important and awesome project. It's nuts.
Right. Someone in chat said a part of the problem is that the skill set is required to even have for this.
Yeah, but like, I think it's mostly, hey, this is formatted in a good way. It's a good place to start for people.
I agree.
You know, and then obviously it's too much work for one person, but you divvy this out and all top players and whoever people contribute. I would be so down to make a baby little fund, like let's say for like $5,000 and everyone gets $100 for an article or something.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like, yeah.
Like, you're done. The site's done.
I know.
For $5,000, we can make a repository of like everyone's thoughts on the fucking game, and just have that exist forever. It's amazing.
Yeah, people in like again like people in chat like I'm definitely trying to listen to what they're saying too, and they're saying like there's no basic category, there's no beginner category and stuff like that, and which is like that's like an issue of my content as well because my content is like all like specific scenarios and just tech. Like
You do it for the nerds, man.
I
But
know
sometimes it's not about the nerds.
I'm trying to transition into like helping people how to practice neutral, how to do analysis and stuff like that. Like I think that's what my content is going to like steer towards for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think like building a real hub for like things like SSBM tutorials. Do you remember SSB University? Do you remember that? Like it was like a little that was super beginner friendly. It was like how to wave dash, those sort of videos.
No,
Um,
SSB University.
yeah, it was a YouTube channel.
Huh.
I think that's what it was called.
I only remember like
No, it wasn't. It wasn't called that. It was by that guy who did like Smash Raps. You guys remember who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Chad will know.
You know the video I'm thinking of, the walk how to play 30-minute video.
Oh, the old dude.
That's the
That guy
thing.
never went to the game.
That's why it was so easy to get into Melee at the time because there was just one video. We
It's
didn't
called Super,
we didn't know
Super
what like
Smash
what else to do.
Academy, by the way. Super Smash Academy. That's the one.
Oh,
I'm thinking
okay.
of.
Like is the walk
that was-
video even still up?
I think it is. That's a fucking legendary video.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's still up.
Yeah,
It's crazy. This video is amazing.
this video's amazing. Honestly, like the idea of making like Melee Guru a hub for like Smash Academy plus like SVM tutorials plus your videos, like all little different levels of like um videos like that which are good for learning, like a
Mhm.
learning hub to me is super important. Like especially like now.
Yeah.
Especially right now, right?
Like
It's
yeah,
important.
like I thought we'd have like some breathing room because of Ultimate, but it's literally right now is when it should be happening.
Yeah, this stuff is really important. And what else was I going to talk about? So there's Melee Guru, there's this Melee Library everyone brought up. That
Mhm.
one's like kind of hard to parse through, but it's like it's
It's
still
so
useful.
good. There's so much
Yeah.
information, but it's
Yeah,
like not
absolutely.
super intuitive. Like
Mhm.
uh, I don't know.
Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. You know what game does this really well?
Hmm.
I had a friend work on this a while back. Go to the Killer Instinct guides. I wanna see if I can find the
Someone in
videos.
chat is saying, "Are we forgetting Smashboards?" Smashboards was good.
Smash Bros was great.
Smashboards, however, was a little intimidating. I didn't use it much when I started. It was intimidating for me because like top players, but Smashboards was like super good. It's just like I don't what happened to Smash. Twitter happened, right?
Uh, yeah, I think so. So I think it's called. There's a thing called I'm gonna link it in chat. ki.infel.net. I would check that out just to see how other communities do it.
Okay.
I think this is the one I'm thinking about. And this is like the whole community uses this.
Let's see. Oh, people are saying a mixture of Twitter and Reddit. I keep forgetting that Reddit's like a thing. I never check Reddit. I forgot all about it. See, what's this? Oh, okay, yeah, like home, the basics. This is good. What is KI? Health and damage, stuff like that. Combos, combo breaker. Yeah, like we don't have this, do we?
We don't have.
We don't have something like this,
thing
right?
that just does this. No,
Right.
We,
The closest thing we actually have is Smashboards.
Yeah.
So maybe what we need is a site like this.
I think what we need is someone to do this and also like carry over the information from old school Smash boards and compile them, kind of like Melee Guru did with like the important posts,
Mm-hmm.
and just compile them. That's like really all we're talking about. It's a compilation effort. And by the way, this sort of stuff, like it might seem like okay, obviously it's dope, but you're like, oh, is this going to be important long term? Well, League of Legends, aka the biggest esport in the world,
Mm-hmm.
literally started off with a like and got big through a website like this. TeamSoloMid.net was just a guides website. Like TSM was just a group of people who made a bunch of guides. Like seriously, that's what the website was to
Really?
begin with. And the game got popular. Like that site got super popular because people wanted to see guides on their characters and like learn about how to use different champions in that game. Like it helped the game grow from the ground up, straight up did. So I do think this stuff is not just like slightly important. I think it's very important.
Okay. Hey, someone says Smash Database. Is that a website? I feel like I've heard of it, but I'm not entirely sure.
Smash database.
This seems to be the guy that made Melee Guru. Yeah, I think Blur found him. You found the person, right? You have his Twitter.
Yeah, I got him. I'm gonna message him.
Okay, cool.
From South Carolina, Marth and Fox player.
Oh,
So
and Fox.
he plays Fox too. You know,
Perfect.
seems like a sick human being.
And I was also talking about um, like top player character representation for content. It's scarce right now. Like outside of like Fox, Falco, and I think like Marth, like those three characters, it's like hard to find like that much content.
Yeah, and I think like it is, in Smash Bros days, at least you could say people posted, so you can always have like the Jigglypuff boards or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or like any other form for your character, and there was always active discussion even if your character was bad.
Right.
um, but like think about it, right? Like Melee's gotten so much more advanced, but still the best reading you could do about Pikachu, a character who is like way more developed now because of Axe than
Mm-hmm.
it was in 2007. The best reading you could do is still like old posts from like N64 and maybe Anther, and I guess a frequent like old Axe posts from like 2009, right?
Right.
It's ridiculous because Pikachu is like everything they did back then is actually completely irrelevant to today for that character.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's the best thing we got still because Axe isn't writing, and the other Pikachu players, though there aren't many, are
Mm-hmm.
also not writing, and because there's no place for them to put it like Smashboard. So
Yeah, I don't know where to put it.
yeah, and some people would say, hey, still Smashboards, it does exist, but I think
Yeah,
it's
but
more of
like,
like a
is that where you go if you're a new player? Do you go to Smash Wars?
probably not.
Yeah,
I think it's a
probably.
compilation problem, right? Where it's like, great, I make a post. Like, I can tell you right now, one of the reasons I don't post on Smashboards, like long posts,
Mm-hmm.
would be because I don't think anyone will see it. More people are just gonna see my tweet.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean,
I'm
I'm
gonna
the
tweet
exact same.
something and people are gonna see it, and they won't necessarily see my Smashboards post. So it's a visibility thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People in chat are saying like people put it on Reddit now instead of Smash Wars, which is true. It's
Yeah, I mean it's tough because our Smash Bros is gonna be ultimate for a little bit, right?
yeah.
But for sure, like Reddit, Twitter, like yeah, those have become our homes. The internet's, that's just how it is. The big platforms have become places.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there's room for a resource like this, which all of those things link to, you know?
Right. Uh, like I'm just trying to think. Like, and if people in chat don't mind answering, if you like are trying to imagine like you're a brand new Melee player, what's the first website you go to? In my eyes, I probably go to YouTube. And
I think most new Melee players see Smash through either Twitch or YouTube,
okay, yeah.
right? Like
Like
that's my
like if you want to learn about Melee, I would go to
oh
YouTube.
oh yeah, it's first thing. I would like look up how to wave dash, how to
Mm-hmm.
L cancel. Like I would just YouTube search it.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing I would do probably.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
like that's why I want to do my part and like the YouTube content, but I also
Mhm.
this website idea or just having something like that links everything together. It sounds like so good as well.
Yeah. I think like basically if education is like a concerted thing that we all want to do, um, we can make content and make it like more of a team sort of thing. Where like, okay, Kalindi makes his stuff, it gets put on his YouTube, but
Hmm.
it gets compiled on a central resource
Right.
that everyone can look at, and and that's that. Frankly, SSBM tutorials is just amazing.
I
Like
know.
even still, it has a lot of the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which is like, which is why it's so weird to me why people still ask these questions that SSBM tutorials have covered, and it's like
It's because
I don't think I'm gonna I don't think my video is gonna be more popular than SSBM tutorials. So like a lot of times I don't even go over those like simple topics.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's actually most of this stuff has already been made,
Mm-hmm.
actually, but it's more a matter of like getting it in front of people and figuring out a way to like really package it.
Right.
Um, because like how to wave dash, there's actually like 50 videos about that by now, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
And good ones, frankly. It's just it's for a new player, they don't know about that channel, and YouTube is a humongous place, so you won't fall into it.
Someone in chat just said SSBM tutorials videos are always short,
Mm.
meaning like they can't have like 30-minute in-depth videos, which some people want.
I think being short's a good thing,
I do too.
frankly.
I've been like trying to go short more on my videos.
I think SM tutorials is actually just godlike. I really have very few complaints.
Yeah.
You know, um, maybe it could be more zany. I know like humor is always good for especially introductory players.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a thing. Like I definitely I think of like really good videos that I enjoyed, but I know a new player wouldn't enjoy. Like let's say Cardano videos, right? Like
Yeah.
sitting there in
Oh,
30
I
minutes as he
can't.
talks.
Dude, I can't even get through a Cardano video.
I love that shit, dude.
It's
I'm
so
his
much of
target
that.
president.
Like, I'm a nerd, but so much of that shit just goes over my head. I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, even you can't nerd that out. And I respect that because honestly, I could see that. But him talking about ECBs, that shit's my lifeblood. Um, like shit that I know will not get me better at melee even 1%.
Uh-huh.
That shit I fucking eat it up. Um, but yeah, like I don't think that's for a new player, you have to make it fun, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that was missing, but overall, like
Do you remember the old
mhm.
Waffle and Luce? What was his name? I don't remember his name. It was Waffles and someone, and there was a video on spacing and a video on neutral. And that video,
Yeah.
both of those videos were like 10 minutes long or like 13 minutes long.
Is it him and Lucian?
Yeah, yeah, Lucian. Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's a fucking good video.
I know. And it's like, I think people want more like stuff like that. So many people ask about like neutral and like what to do in neutral. Like that's honestly that's a question I asked too. I just messaged Larry yesterday because I'm playing Smash Ultimate Fox, and I was just like, dude, like literally like what are his strongest tools in neutral? Because I don't know. And he told me, and I was like, oh okay, this makes so
You know
much
what's
sense.
one of the first questions, by the way, now the Ultimate's out that we need to answer and
Mm-hmm.
clearly and concisely to new players.
Mm-hmm.
And this will sound antagonistic, but I really mean it in no way. Is for these new kids, the first question they'll ask is, well, why would I play melee instead of ultimate? And
Right.
we need to have a good answer. That's first of all not hateful,
I know.
but just
That's
like
just even that title or that question is gonna come off like it's hateful.
right. But that is like the first question they're gonna ask. Like, I'm in this venue playing ultimate. Why would I play melee?
Uh-huh.
What's so cool about melee?
Like less
We need to
characters. Just we
right.
definitely need an answer. Right
We need
now,
an answer.
I don't have one.
And I think the hardest part is, and this is something I've been talking to people about a lot, is they have no point of reference. Most of these new kids.
Mm-hmm.
So at least with Brawl and Wii U, most of those people when they came into the scene when they were 17, 16, whatever, 18, they had at least played melee when they were younger. But straight up, these ultimate kids that are coming in right now, and we're
Oh yeah,
seeing
they've never even
as
seen melee.
they've literally don't even know what a GameCube is. Right, like
Yeah.
it is how we probably view Commodores, right? Like in our generation, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not part of their fucking. It's just not something to them, right? So we have to do an even better job than we've ever done in the past of explaining why Melee's sick. Because at least if you played it in the past, you know it's a pretty fucking good game.
Oh yeah, people in chat are saying the title needs to be something more like reasons to play melee instead of why melee is better than ultimate. I definitely don't think a title should be why melee is better than ultimate.
Yes,
That's just a
Cole.
shitstorm.
that's just a shitstorm, but it is a very good YouTube clickbait.
Yeah.
But really, like, look, here's the way I'd put it, and I think this is the most diplomatic way of putting it. First, I think there's nothing wrong with this on either side. For the most part, you play Ultimate for discovery, right? Right now, like, and that's in general what, like, some people. I think it was Phil was talking to me. I don't remember who it was. He was like, "Man, I really don't get why that community just doesn't play Melee." And I was like, "Dude, I actually completely get it."
Oh yeah,
Because
I do. I completely get it too. Like it was...
I 100% get it, and the reason is because they have a lot of fun with discovering a new game, figuring out its mechanic, discovering characters, seeing and they love discussing what characters are the best. They love discussing, the what's going to be good, who wins what matchups. They love that discovery period.
And the entry barrier is just so much lower.
Right.
And you're all, like, everyone's starting off on the same foot.
Right. They love that period of time where, you walk into an event and you genuinely don't know who the best is. That is a magical period of time. Like, considering, I mean, I was around for that time in Melee, and it was also magical for Melee, right? Like, where straight up, we didn't know who was good and who was bad. And it wasn't like I walk into a room and I know who's going to win this tournament, right? And so that's actually the core of a big reason why they like their competitive scene and they like Ultimate. And that's actually sick. It's actually, there's literally no argument to be made that is not a pro for playing Ultimate over Melee, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone in chat just said, "Can you name 1 or 2 reasons why Melee is good that doesn't involve comparing it to other Smash games?"
I could, but I want to finish my point.
Okay, go ahead.
So if the reason to play Ultimate is discovery, and by the way, there's a flip side to this coin. It's also why those players tend to, you might notice, they get bored quicker, right?
Yeah.
Near the end of all of those games' lives, they've hated their game so much, primarily because the discovery period's over and they're like, well, shit,
this character's broken.
Yeah, or this or that. We figured it out, and now we don't like what we figured out. Whereas Melee players, in general, are more attracted to the concept of depth. Right, generally less easily bored, less easily looking for the next, thing to discover, and are more looking for, hey, how do I become a master pianist, or become like a master of the craft and the depth of the craft, and that's really, to me, like the fundamental difference between why the community separates, because it's actually targeting 2 separate types of gamers, right? Some gamers like going that direction and going into that type of competition, and others like going to the discovery path, and that's completely fine. Right. But that's like the prime for me. That would be the reason, right? Is, hey, you want to try something that's insanely deep and let you have options that maybe you don't have access to. Unfortunately, that compares it to other Smash games, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It does. Yeah. No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I just had the craziest idea. It's so off topic, but it's insane. Imagine if Brawl, Smash 4, and Ultimate came out first, and then Melee just came out last week.
Okay.
That shit would be wild.
That shit would be.
Oh my god.
I don't think we would have a competitive scene though.
I don't know what I just don't know what we do. Oh my god, it'd be so crazy.
I mean, I think the biggest question is, would we have a competitive scene?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't want to think about it, but I do want to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting. I think there's also a chance that Melee would come out and none of us would realize how godlike it is, because there's so many esports out right now, and none of us would even give it a chance competitively. Like, I think because Melee was in 2001, and we were all just like little noobs playing and wanted to see who's best. I mean, it's tough to see how we receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. What a different timeline.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, there'd be balance patches in the game.
Oh no! Never mind.
That ruined everything. Dude.
I'm so happy that Melee came out when it did.
Yeah, it was.
I complain about some things in Melee, like Marth and Puff and whatever, like some stupid shit. But after and this is not a shot at Ultimate either. After playing Ultimate, I have zero complaints about Melee.
Dude, there's
Absolutely zero.
literally a handful max, maybe like less than 5 genuine changes I would make to Melee. Like mostly I wouldn't change anything at
And a
all.
few of them will be out of game, like controller stuff. Like,
Yeah, like I mean, that's actually like one of the biggest negatives of the whole game
yeah,
is this controller shit. So it's not really in the game, and I mean, you can't even blame my boy Sakurai for it, you know.
I know.
Um, so for sure, like, dude, I through experiencing and being a part of more esports through my job, I can tell you something. The shit we complain about as Melee players is
Mhm.
actually asinine and so ungrateful. It's fucking ridiculous.
I know.
Like
I'm trying. I'm stopping myself.
we're out here talking about how like random it is for a dashback, and like motherfuckers in Hearthstone are getting destroyed by Yoxeron. It's just literally they're coin flipping their way in like $1 million match, and we're out here like
Oh yeah.
complaining about this like absurd shit. So no, for sure. And I think Ultimate. The funny thing is, I think Ultimate. I've been having a lot of fun with it. So
I have too.
I'm actually not hating on it at all.
It's great. It's been messing with my Melee Fox a little bit. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but like,
Yeah.
I'm doing like running up smashes with the C stick and Melee, and it's just like, oh, that's not a thing. But I am having fun with Ultimate.
Yeah, no, I'm having straight up fun with it. Like,
And
I
I'm
think
so interested to see like what the meta is gonna be like.
yeah. I mean, I have maybe the arrogant belief that I already know everything there is to know. I know that
About how the
sounds
meta is
ridiculous.
gonna go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I've seen myself be right too many times with the last 2 iterations. But dog, Inkling, the Belmonts, fucking who else is there? There
Crom.
Crom. Those are the best characters, man. Like, maybe there's one or two more but like those are the best characters.
Falco's not the best character.
I literally touched those characters for 5 minutes, and I knew they were the best characters. And like, okay, it's only been like 6-7 days, and I guess more for the people who pirated. And now everyone's saying that, and I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, you literally have to touch the game for 5 seconds to know. Just like I had to touch the game for 5 seconds to know that Meta Knight was the best in Brawl.
Yeah.
Like, it did not take long. Dude has 6 jumps and he has a sword. In Ultimate, my man has a whip. Like, what do you
At least Inkling looks cool though.
Yeah, for sure. But dog, he can do a roller on your shield and cross up while safe on shield, and if he buries you, he hits you for 80% damage. Like in a game where no one can combo.
Oh, and also in the game where you actually can't cross up, but she's the only character that can.
Yeah. And by the way, the dash dance goes into the goddamn ground, or the foxtrot goes into the ground. Like, dude, of course this character's better than others. Like, this is the up air kills at 80. Like, what are you talking? Like, it's impossible, right? It's impossible. Maybe if Melee came out right now and we knew as much about Smash as we did, we'd also see these sort of things and they'd be relatively obvious. Because I think if Melee came out right now, there'd be no world where I think Bowser was good and Fox wasn't good. Right? Like, I would know that.
Yeah.
I would know that pretty fast.
There'd definitely be a few people like, oh, dude, I think Bowser's like low key slept on. Like,
yeah. They'd be. I don't know why they would think that, but I think for the most part, it'd be pretty obvious. Like, Marth has this huge sword. Like, how the fuck is that character not good? It's obvious. You know?
Actually, feels like some people would still think Roy is like on par with Marth.
Yeah. I mean, early days in Melee, we actually straight up didn't know. Like, people knew about Sheik and Marth, but pretty quickly, I think. But most of the characters, like, we didn't know. It even took us like a decade to figure out Yoshi was good. You know, like,
yeah, that's true.
We were very wrong for a very long time in Melee. But I don't know. Maybe it's because a lot of the mechanics are reduced and simpler in the newer games. But I think it's mostly just that we've gotten better at evaluating. Like, we are way smarter now.
Yeah.
And it's just obvious, man. Like, it doesn't take a genius, man. Dude has a whip. It is what it is.
Huh.
Yeah.
So that's Ultimate.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else you want to talk about? I'm down to have a few more discussions. This is interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I love talking to you, Kalindi. I'm actually really proud of you for making that tweet and thinking about it at a time like this. That's what I'm talking about, man.
It blew my mind. Like, cause my best friend plays Ultimate. He wants to be like top 10 in the state in Ultimate. I was like, yeah, you could definitely do that. And like the more I was playing the game, he was just like beating my ass. I was like, oh fuck. And then we got into this discussion like, he was like, how long would it take me to beat you in Melee? And we played Melee. He couldn't take a stock off me. Like, cause he's the reason I played Melee. We used to play a long time ago, but he's like rusty, and he can't take a stock off me now. I was like, dude, honestly, it'd take you about like 3 years, I think, maybe more. Cause I'm not just gonna sit here and get worse either. I'm gonna get better. And I was like, and then
I'd be shocked if it took him only 3 years. Then he'd be rude.
Yeah.
He'd be
and I was like,
superstar.
and yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh fuck, like it took him 3 years to beat me, 3+ years to beat me in Melee.
Yeah.
But in Ultimate,
that's the problem, right?
Yeah, what?
I mean, here's the thing though. The Ultimate works better with our current tournament formats because people genuinely feel like they can potentially win an event. It's actually not true. Zero's gonna win, or Nairo, or one of those, one of the guys. They're gonna win. Yeah, they're gonna win. But at least they have that illusion. In Melee, there's no illusion.
I know.
Literally, by your first friendly, you know your ass.
Yeah.
You are not good enough. But that's like the problem, right? Like the problem isn't that they can't win a tournament. Personally, I don't think that's the problem. Like I don't think the problem is it takes a long time to beat KJH in Melee. I think the problem is that our goal and incentive structure tells them that they ain't shit until they beat KJH.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because there's accomplishments in the middle, man, and there's some dope stuff in the middle. There's pride to take for being a silver player.
There's some milestones you have to set for yourself. I still remember to this day, I was still 0-30 versus Duck. Like I hadn't beaten him yet. We were in a basement at a house tournament, and he dash attacked my shield, and I got my very first wave shot out of shield in tournament. And I was like, "Fuck yes!" And of course, I lost. Of course, I could care less, but I accomplished something.
That's achievement unlocked, baby.
I know and then until to this day, I still hit him with it. Like it just became it only got better from there.
I think the lonely existence of a Smash player makes it worse. Like where it's like, what Arcadians do is it gives glory, right? And like these dudes are like, they are fiending for glory, right? Because the Smash scene as it is doesn't give you that, right? There's just so many tournaments and so much going on that genuinely people don't know your wins and losses. Your wins, frankly, like we like to pretend they matter, but they kind of don't because no one knows they happened. And a lot of like your shit's not streamed. If you're not beating a top 100 player, apparently we don't count it. It's ridiculous. It's frankly ridiculous. If we simply had a mechanism to track people's wins and losses and like keep them on their record forever, or like make a ranking system which reflected their skill level that like we actually cared about and was a big part of a big deal, then yeah, I think they would care about winning a bronze tournament, or hey, I finally graduated out of bronze to silver or to platinum or whatever it is, and it would mean more than net play, which we all know is a ranking system that like is only online,
right?
So no, I think that is like the core of it is that our goal structures are like trash.
Yeah, really bad.
They're just really bad.
It's just because of the way our community like shifted. When like we just praise like Twitter and top 100 wins and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because like I think that for us it's the worst format for our game, because it wouldn't be so bad if our game was more random or frankly less skill based or things like that, because in games which have a less of a skill barrier and less levels to it, it wouldn't be as big of a problem to not have great goal setting for low-level players. But in a game where you're gonna be low-level for 3, 4, 5 years potentially,
it's gonna suck
before your real accomplishments. Like, this is the worst system we could have ever devised.
I know.
We optimized for making our scene smaller, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's absurd.
And I'm definitely like guilty of this as well. Like going to locals and like just straight sleeping through round 1 and just like double 4 stocking and not even say anything, and it's just like that sucks. I can't even imagine what that feels like. Oh well, on a like round 2.
Yeah.
And like trying to think of like what that feels like on the other side, it's just like, what do you do? I mean, we have amateur brackets. Also something that I used to hate the oversaturation of Arcadians that Michigan had. But now, like, Michigan's in a place, like, where we don't have weekend tournaments anymore.
Yeah.
And we just have, like, a bunch of locals, and the locals don't even, like, get over 20 entrants.
That's horrible.
I know. And, like, me and Ginger, like, Ginger made a post to Michigan Melee. We were trying to, like, figure out why this happened. And a lot of the comments were, like, either the scene feels clicky, like top players hang out with top players, people just go 0-2 and don't improve, the game is hard, and stuff like that. And it's just like I don't know what to do to help. I will answer like pretty much any question like in my stream or at any local, but it's like I don't know how to reach everyone.
Yeah, and I think the social stuff is really important, like being their friends, really inviting them in. For me, I think the social stuff is like the way we've mitigated against our horrific structure is we've basically there comes a point where, okay, sure they're losing, but they just love these people so much that they're just friends with them, and that's why they stick around. And that's honestly what I think happens, right? Because I look at when I was really bad, and I'm not very good at by any stretch of the imagination, but I went through the noob hurdles, right? And I think about why I actually went to events during that time, and it was mostly social, right? Yeah. It was like I loved Melee so much and I cared about winning, but if I didn't like the people in the room, like I probably wouldn't have gone.
I
right?
agree. It
but
blows
I happened to like them.
It blows my mind that right now I'm in a point in my life where I talk to Melee players every single day in my life because they're like my friends now. They're like my lifelong friends. And it's just like that, it's crazy. And also like from my perspective, like just walking up to like new players or asking to join a rotation, sometimes it feels like I'm being like, I don't know if it's coming off as rude or what. It feels weird just walking up to a rotation with two people I don't know, and I know they're low level and asking to join, and then
especially when you dominate the setup and they're not waiting.
Yeah,
I think it's the worst.
Like, is it rude? But it's like I know they want to play top players, and it's just I don't know how to work on that.
Yeah, the clicky stuff is hard to solve for because as the scene gets bigger, it's like. So like, let's say we go to a major, like me and you will hang out, right? Or and so will like all the people who are at every major, right? And the reason for that is literally because we see each other like a bunch of times a year, and therefore we become friends. Whereas the random dude in the venue, we know we won't see all the time. So that's literally the only. It's like literally a pragmatic way of looking at it. But that's not like. I think there's ways of mitigating it. Right, like where it's like, hey, more Q&A, more interaction. I think Twitch does a really good job of like letting people understand the lives and personalities of the top. But what if we did more signing sessions and we did more interactions and more things that like automated it? But the problem with that stuff is it's also hokey, right? Like it's so esportsy that like I don't know if people like it, but generally like letting people have their time, right? There's top players out there who don't do autographs during tournaments, don't do that sort of stuff. And I always hated that, but I only hate it if we just don't give them a time to do it. Like, sure, you don't want to do fan interaction during an event because you're locked in, but at least set aside an hour or two to do it. Don't just like say no and then leave the event and just be a douchebag.
Yeah, Mango will always do it.
Mango will pretty much always do it.
That's why so many people love him.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Someone in chat said just do rotations, like if I join the setup. The issue with doing rotations is, granted, there's a lot of bad players, but there's also a lot of hidden bosses. I've played people in my scene, like in my region, who I've never heard of before, and they've like taken games off me in friendlies. And it's just like who are you? So it's like I don't want to sit down at a setup. It's like, yo, I'm probably going to win all these matches, so you want to do a rotation? And guy beats me. And it's just like, oh, that's like kind of awkward.
Also, because winner stays on is like the standard, asking for rotations almost disrespectful.
I know, exactly. And yeah, it's like the people in chat like suggesting this aren't like in my like position where it can either be disrespectful or it can either be really awkward.
Yeah, and it's even worse, I think, because let's say you win 10 games in a row and it's kind of obvious you're better than them all.
Mm-hmm.
To then say, "Hey, let's
Yeah.
switch it up. Maybe you get a turn," because you kind of know deep down that that's what you should do. But then it's like almost bringing to light that I'm beating your asses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like discrediting how much they're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But realistically, like I think things like friendlies rotations and all that, like to me, friendlies are great, but what like Shine has done in the past and other events have done in the past of like having sit and go brackets or things that
Mm-hmm.
like really engage people, that's like the core of it, right? Like we need to have a ton of dedicated setups for friendlies for sure, but giving people ways to engage that are other than that, and I think like
What up,
Smash
Brandon?
GG tried it with a ladder for a little bit. It was
It was pretty
okay.
good. They
Yeah,
stopped
it was.
doing it, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because like people liked it, but it was like overhead for like TOs and stuff where they had to manage it. But also at the same time, it was like it was cool, but then you got put into queue and you had to wait, and people were just like, "Why don't we just do friendlies?"
I
So it
know.
was like it was
Smashers are
cool,
actually so hard to please as well. Like
insane. But
this is not easy on the TOs by any
But
means.
nonetheless, here's the thing though. Nonetheless, though there were obvious haters of it, there was basically a contingent of people who were thinking like, "Hey, the ladders aren't good because I would rather just use these setups for friendlies." But there were the grinders who were in the 24-hour venue,
Mm-hmm.
literally, like they just never left. They never showered. They never left. And they spent that whole event trying to become like rank one on that big house ladder or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have that anymore. You know, it's kind of sucks because it feels like in so many ways, a lot of innovations we've made over the years we just stopped doing. And I don't really, to me, I don't have a complete picture why. Like I love progress, but I hate when we lose it.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I thought ladders were cool for a bit, but I know some people didn't.
Yeah. Um. So we definitely like. There's things that need to change, and like, so you think the format is like a big one, like not getting just
I think that's the number one problem. I think
number one problem.
the number one problem is strictly the format, and it limits us too. On
Okay.
a mathematical sense, it limits us. The number of setups that are like, let's say we run a tournament form. There's two tournament formats, right? Uh, let's say you have 1024 players, right? 1,024 players at an
Mm-hmm.
event. One of these tournaments, in one version of this tournament, you run a straight bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another version of these tournaments, you run bronze, silver, gold, where people play in bronze to qualify into silver, then play silver to qualify into gold, and gold is like the final bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
The number of total setups and matches that are played in the second format is like extraordinarily less. I'm talking about like it's a fraction of the amount of sets that are played in the first format. And so you're like, how does that work? It's the same number of players and people are still getting double eliminated.
Right.
I can explain the bracket math to you, but just trust me on that one for now.
I'm seeing it in my head. I understand.
Yeah, so that's actually so much better. So what that means is that 1024 tournament that has 128 setups, for example, now needs like way less setups to complete its tournament, so the rest of the setups can be used for more.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's part of the beauty of moving to that format.
I see.
And the other beauty of it is it removes the irrelevant matches, right? Which is like the match of Armada versus
whoever.
yeah. So like it removes irrelevant matches and optimizes everyone's experiences.
And so you think that the players want that more than just friendlies?
I think yes, because and I've seen it over. Well, first of all, they
Is
get
this
more
true
friendlies.
for some people in
I
chat?
think I think
What
they
do you
would
guys
I think they would get more friendlies, by the way, because like I said, it takes less setups to do bronze, silver, gold.
Mm-hmm.
They would get more friendlies with this system, but they would also get more fun stuff. What they would see is no sacrifice, because currently we tried to do, like, let's say what Shine did, right? They did sit and goes and they did a regular double elimination bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what you would see is instead, since the main bracket takes less space, like less setups, it literally takes very few setups actually to run a 10-24 tournament when you switch to this format. You do the fun stuff, but it wouldn't be sacrificing friendly space,
Okay.
right? So overall, you'd win.
Yeah. Some people in chat are saying they agree. They would rather have more tournament matches than friendly matches, and this is why I need like the lower and mid level perspective. Because in my eyes, after I lose 2 sets, I want to go home. Or not I want to go home, but I'm just done. I know I lost. I know I can't win a tournament anymore, and that's it for me. And and it's like I assume that everyone has that mentality of if they can't win a tournament anymore, then they don't want to keep playing. But that's not the case. That's not the case for everyone. Yeah. Like, and I have to realize that.
Yeah. I mean, I think like in this part of the ideas are less fleshed out to me. But okay, great. So you get points, let's say, that based on your tournament results that determine whether you're bronze, silver, or gold. But what you could also add as a separate thing is, hey, let's have a ranked match. It's not in bracket, but we're both silver. I want to let's have a ranked match, like outside the tournament. Let's get a setup, you and me, and let's record it and let's input our results. And if I win, I get points. Your points. That's literally all it is.
That's true. Because considering how many people play on the Anthers ladder, I think that would definitely work.
It also, like, it literally could be something like that. The reasons why I haven't thought about completely is because it's like, okay, it's not part of the regular tournament. How do you verify results? How do you, make sure that people are picking their match, like they're challenging someone, so that could lead to collusion. Like, there's a lot of things there that I'd have to think through further. But the general point is to give people an avenue to play serious matches that aren't just limited to tournament necessarily, right?
Or money matches.
Right, like, and that stuff's great. So there's a lot of solutions there, and I think it starts with the format, but I think the content has to come with it. Like, both of those things have to happen for our game to be more approachable. I think the issues of like accessibility have been getting better with like netplay. Thankfully, but a lot of these issues are still there. If you guys haven't watched my almost 2-hour dissertation of Melee's,
that was a good video.
You watch it?
We watched it on the car ride to House of Pain.
It is Blur talking to a webcam for fucking 2 hours. But
I was all about it.
You're all about it, right? You see what I'm saying? It's a long video, but I think like literally I needed that much time to explain everything wrong and good with Melee and good with Smash. That sort of stuff, like, to me, like, if we think about Smash in that lens, and the weakness, okay, so what weakness of that list are we trying to solve here? That's accessibility, right? That's one of the grand weaknesses that we talked about. If we view about Smash in that lens and talk about what can be done to solve those problems, then everything becomes easier. Like, you're over here talking about, I want to fix this accessibility problem because I think it's a huge problem, right? Because it is. It's one of our 10 biggest problems. And so this is time well spent. Time talking about how to solve one of our 10 greatest weaknesses is time well spent. Because the truth is, Smash Unshackled it will take over the world. We're going to get a taste of it with Ultimate. Because right now, our stream viewership, and it's been like 5-6 days, our director is still ridiculous. It's still hitting like 80K, man.
Yes,
you know how bonkers that is?
Absolutely insane.
That's dumb. That's dumb. Like, in a world where a month from now, 2 months from now, we stabilize at 20 or 30K in the Ultimate directory, do you understand how happy I'll be? Yeah. Sure, we're a third less than we are now, but stabilizing at 20, 30K means we're Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. that's like incredible. And if Melee can hit even 5K in its home streaming, I'm happy too. And then we're at 35. Then we're even bigger. So Smash has insane potential.
Someone in chat said, ask Blair what he thinks about VG Bootcamp letting locals use their stream.
I told them to do
That's
that.
a
What do I think
crazy
about
idea.
it?
That's
What do I think about it? I've been yelling at Gimmer to do it for fucking years, and he's finally doing it.
Really?
Yes.
Like I mean, like
I've been
locals,
doing
like out, like our Michigan local, or something like
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
that's such a good idea.
Yeah. Literally, VG Bootcamp gets content, the
I know.
local gets exposure. It's not like the local stream channel, anyone gives a shit about it, including the streamer. Like, no one loses in this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. I've literally been preaching this gospel for so long. Just
Really?
consolidate the streams, you idiots.
All right, you talk to Gimmer more.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that there's an issue of, like, some local scenes trying to grow their stream.
Fuck that. No, seriously. Fuck that mentality right there that you just talked about, Kalindi, is holding Smash back.
I believe you.
Oh.
I'm just saying that's what they think. Like,
We really
that
need
is
to
an
grow
issue.
twitch.tv/Purdue Smash. With all due respect, Purdue Smash, I love y'all. And I'm just picking on them because they're a random small tournament streamer.
Oh, okay.
But you could say this about anybody,
Uh-huh.
right? Dog, your streams don't make money. If you're one of those,
That's true.
your streams aren't making money.
And the VODs are getting deleted.
The VODs are getting deleted.
The VODs are getting deleted.
You don't even have full partnership perks.
I know.
Your YouTube videos are buried in YouTube's algorithm, and no one's even seeing them. Your players aren't getting exposure. Taking that fat money from whoever, like let's say if VG Bootcamp pays you $50 to stream it on their channel, is more money than you will ever earn for streaming those locals.
Yeah.
Take that deal, and because it's good for Smash and it's good for you.
That needs to talk to Gimmer.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
literally, just do that. Just do that.
I mean, I'm gonna talk to my scene. I'm gonna talk to Joga Guy, and see if he can to get some order going on. I think, like, I don't know if Rob cares. I know he cares, but I don't know if he cares about like this.
I want to apologize to Purdue Smash, by the way. You guys are good people. But you get the idea, right? Like,
yeah.
right now, Smash is on some like 1 trillion channels, and people are okay with their events getting like 10 viewership because they're trying to quote unquote grow your channels. Bro, you're not growing your channel with 10 viewers.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Also, it needs to, or even beyond the Summit Smash, BTS Smash is another one.
Yeah.
That could like get in on
They
this.
should do it too. Sure. I just think it breaks my heart. You know how much it breaks my heart, and I think I talked about in the video, that GTX happened on its own channel, and that channel's never going to get used again. That Smash and Splash happened on Gamers HQ TV, and that channel gets used once a year.
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb.
And it's like they don't make money off of it.
The crazy part about the people who talk about growing their channels, quote unquote, is that they stream once a month or something, or once a year. Like, oh yeah, we're going to grow and build our channel off this weekly that we do once a week. No, dude, that's not how the internet works. Like, that's literally not how it works. You have to. How many hours do you stream a day, KJH?
Like 4 to 5.
Exactly. You stream every day 4 hours a day, and you're not even the most active streamer. You're not Leffen or
Right.
Mango or whatever. And you think about it, you're like, that's what it takes for you. Why would tournaments be any different?
I know.
They're
like,
not.
People
They're
aren't.
not.
That's not how Smashers work. They aren't gonna just throw money at tournament streams every month, like once a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Gimmer was able to do it. Yeah, but like Gimmer streamed a lot. It wasn't just like once a month or once a year for one tournament.
Yeah, he there's only one channel that can, or one, maybe 2 or 3 max, that can have enough events to be that, right? And the truth is, even in those cases, we'd be all better off if that number was reduced, right? We would all be better off if there was a twitch.tv/Smash Brothers that we all worked on, and Gimmer just got paid for streaming it, like completely outside of everything else. If I just paid Gimmer 10K for streaming, and we're on the same channel, Gimmer makes more money, and Smash Brothers gets more viewership. It's better for everybody.
2016 was the best year of Melee. What was 2016?
2016 was really good. 2016 and 2017
I remember
were
2015 and 14. What happened in 16?
16 was Evo 2016. Remember Hungrybox roll on the ground?
Oh.
Yeah.
I think 2015 and 14 were better.
See, it depends. It depends if you're talking about the matches or you're talking about community health.
Yeah, I guess.
Community health peaked in 2017. Maybe 2016 you can argue it, but it was like somewhere between those years.
2016 is just such a blur to me for some reason.
Blur. Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gamo 2016 they're bringing up. Remember Leffen's win? That was a good event.
2016. 2016 was the year Leffen wasn't able to compete, right?
Excellent commentary too at Gamo 2016.
That was you. You and D1.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I remember.
So yeah, 2014 had a lot of good. 2014 was MLG, Evo, KOC. Like I think that was like all in 1 month, and it was like three of the best events ever.
Yeah.
Like back to back, which were really sick. And it also had like a really sick late end of the year too. So we've had a lot of good years. Frankly, like 2014 to 2017, 2018 are all blessed years, right? Like, and if I'd rank, like, there's different ranking in terms of how good, like, the viewership or whatever was, and like, and how big our scene is, and the other, and which is like how good the matches were. But I think in terms of how big the scene was, it's undeniable that 2016/2016 was the biggest we've ever been. 2018 we dropped off a little bit. It sucked. But 2019 is gonna destroy everything. 2019 is gonna murder. 2019 is literally gonna fucking murder everything, and we're all going to have to get in our little bunkers and do our fucking job. Be a good citizen of Smash Brothers, and retain this shit. Because our next 5 years are going to be determined by how well we execute in this year to retain the people that come in through this year.
So it's gonna be hard. I wanna be a part of this. Like I am willing to do anything I'm capable to do. Like I don't have like a lot of funds or anything, so I can't throw money at this. But as far as like making content or helping in that area, I'm definitely down to help.
Ooh, people are talking about 2016 SoCal locals. Was 2016?
Yeah, SSS.
Was 2016 the SSS years? I don't remember. Or was that 2014? I don't remember. But
I think it was 14 to 16.
Yeah, it got like every weekend.
They were amazing. I don't know what happened to locals or like weekend tournaments.
We got 10 to 15K literally every other weekend. It was fucking nuts. It's like peak concurrence. It was crazy.
It hurts because like I said when we brought up the discussion like that locals are dying in Michigan, that we only have weeklies and no weekend tournaments. It's looking like that's like it's not just Michigan that's going through that. It looked like it's a combination of net play and weeklies that kind of oversaturated like Melee. Like
yeah. Also,
I mean, for it.
Speaking of SoCal, like you compare the two states of back then to now, it's like the two biggest locals in SoCal for the last couple of years, Nimbus and TMT.
They're both gone, right?
They're both gone.
Yeah.
And there's still other stuff like Friday Night Turn Up and whatever.
Is the meta shift still a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Power 9. They did Power 9.
Oh, it's so hard to keep up.
But I don't think Power 9 was big for a while. That was dope. But you know, like, I mean, obviously, the SSS Mayhem days, those were fucking nuts. But the era we had after that was still pretty cool, and now it's like, geez, in terms of SoCal. So, and then NorCal, it's sort of getting better, but not in terms of production, I don't think.
I have no idea. Ever since the Foundry stopped happening, I have no idea what's happening in NorCal.
Yeah, there was the Foundry era, right, for NorCal.
I know. Oh my god, I missed the Foundry.
Yeah, when
I missed Tuesdays. Oh my god.
So people are trying to make things happen, but I think like locals. I don't know if I'd completely blame NetPlay. I think it's one of those things where it takes leading by example. I think a lot of people don't believe that a local product works, which is nuts. Which is actually nuts. And the truth is that what I always say when people are asking like, "Hey, why aren't people coming to my event?" or "Why aren't people watching my event?" It's literally always the you know what the correct answer is, KJH?
What?
Your event sucks. they're not watching or going to it because your event probably is just not good enough. Like, people don't like to talk about it, but
Truth hurts.
You're just a bunch of fucking tables and some TVs, and your stream is unwatchable with like no commentary or barely or bad commentary, and you only put up horrible matches. Your first 4 hours of your stream is like mid-level doubles,
Dude,
and then
I just brought this up. Why do streams stream that?
I don't know. And then and
Why?
people
Is it to
so,
build
okay.
up? Is it to build up viewers for like when the bracket actually starts in like 7 hours? Or I just
So
don't know
you know,
why.
obviously I've hosted a lot of majors, but I can tell you locals work because I hosted the most fucking successful local series of all
People
time.
were in chat are saying
And
bring back Kings of Cali.
maybe. But the reason, the way it worked wasn't just that the SoCal players were good. And I can tell you that because SoCal's existed for like 17 years, and no, there's never been something before or since that, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
been like that. And the way we grew it, it was very slow. It happened because we actually cared about the content.
Right.
Like, I never put anything on stream that I thought would suck. And you'd be surprised if you cared enough about it, um, how much that matters. Like, sure, you can say, "Hey, my region doesn't have good enough players to do that." Yeah, it probably does actually, right? Most of the regions we're talking about, like what NorCal doesn't, sure it does. SoCal does. Michigan even does,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, tons of you could make this stuff good, but people aren't ready to admit to themselves that it's not the scene's fault and their event just sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
sometimes their event just sucks. All you did was rent a venue and put some tables and TVs up. You think that's enough, bro? It's not.
no. So what do you think about this idea? It's still a baby idea, but what do you think about gauntlet streams of pools where the top player of that pool of round one pools plays every single match on stream, like back to back to back to back?
So that's good. So one thing you're bringing up with that idea is how round robin is. Like, let's say you have to think of creative formats like that where, hey, I only have so many good players. I need more KJH and duck matches.
Right.
But you can do that. Just make your tournament format so that you get more of that, right? Or like think of cool things that you can do. Like remember, like we flew out Plup for Boss Rush. This is before he was really that good.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was one flight, right? Not even that expensive. And we flew him out, and it was like one of the most memorable things we ever did.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, things like trailers, like hyping it up, making your PR matter, or making like some ranking matter, making it matter for people, like making matches matter. Takes a lot, but I think for me, like I'm more concerned, like on not like a micro level, but how to like. It's hard for me, right? Because I preach a lot, but at this point I'm at a point where I care so much more about either teaching people or distilling my knowledge or finding ways so that this stuff can get standardized and better. Because the problem we find, which is like the one of my slides in that video, was the brain drain, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is people host tournaments for like 6 months and then they stop. And they never get better or good at it, right? The only reason that I learned all I did all these years is because I was crazy enough to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I literally just did it for a decade and never stopped. But most people don't do that. And that's like, these are the core problems, right? Is that kids out there TO for 6 months or a year, and that's that. So you can say their event sucks, but it's their first event.
Right.
It's way more damning to me if this is like the 100th tournament you've ever hosted and it still sucks. But that's usually not the case in Smash. In Smash, it's like this is one of your first events, and it turns out it's also one of your last events because you stopped TOing shortly thereafter.
Yeah. It's hard though. God, it's so complicated. Yeah. people in chat are saying like they'd love to just see Mango sit down for an hour and play a spool and just wreck everyone. The thing with this is as a top player, I would be so down for this idea because it sucks playing one match, getting up, walking around just to play your next match in round one pools at most tournaments. Because
I mean, if you want to know,
CEO.
So locals are really important because we're talking about how to solve weekdays, and weekdays getting content for that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see more city versus city stuff. Like I tried to do that for a while with NorCal or SoCal and like making people really into it or whatever. But in general, city versus city is great. Like it could be, you're in it could be within the same state or like a few hours away or small stuff, right?
Hmm.
And just like partnering with other TOs to make this stuff pop off, right? And hype. Um, so it's huge. It's huge.
Agreed.
Huge.
Dude, I'm watching
So
this off topic. I'm watching this Lakers Miami game. It's so close.
is it really?
Yeah, there's like 2 minutes left, and Lakers are only up by two. I just keep my stream sees me. They keep seeing me look back.
It's
So I
probably
have to let
super.
them know too.
Dude, the Lakers are so frustrating to watch. Why does Lonzo Ball ever get time?
I don't. He's a good defender.
Dude, it doesn't matter. It's 4-on-5 on offense.
I
Defense doesn't even
know.
win. He's a guard. It doesn't even matter. Defense in the NBA.
He has the ball right now. Yeah, he's not doing.
Yeah.
He's not doing much on offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now LeBron has the ball, making plays. Oh my god. All right, whatever. Back to Melee.
Yeah. Tournaments should be more open to letting players restream. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
And in
dude.
other languages.
I always feel so weird about restreaming. Like I asked GTX could I restream, but they responded too late, so I didn't. But I do think cause like you said, it needs to be about like Smash as a whole instead of like trying to grow your own stream or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, and I think like this can be so easily done. What's funny is everything I've described right now is better for all parties.
mm-hmm.
Like there's no one who loses. It's just we happen to be doing the wrong things routinely that hurt us consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And like look, Ultimate's gonna make us bigger, whether we change or not. But that doesn't mean the change isn't good.
All right. Here. How about this idea? I had this idea for a while, and hear me out.
Go ahead.
You host a national,
Yeah.
and you have no commentary for the whole national. Just
So audio channels is what you're describing. Basically,
just game.
so I think that's like another premium thing. So what I think, what you're describing is basically how do we like things. This is something you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, not necessarily. I think it'd be interesting to just see like the highest level match, and there's just silence. There's no commentary.
Yeah. Similarly, I think like, everyone goes in the conversation of like, okay, maybe do a twitch.tv/no commentary or whatever to make it happen. But
Mm-hmm.
but in general, like having more options for viewers so that they can enjoy the content in different ways and like
I agree. Like analytical commentary, no commentary, stuff like that.
And what's great
People in
about the
chat
no
are saying
commentary stuff
just
is
mute. The thing is, I don't want to mute. I want to hear the game and I want to hear the crowd. Sometimes.
The mute is not good because we want it to be people to be able to restream it, because restreaming not only enables like Kalindi to run it on his own channel, but it also means that like someone who's streaming it in French or like doing a foreign language broadcast can easily take a stream and use it because they want the game audio as part of their commentary.
Right.
Yeah. Also hearing the crowd type.
Yeah.
Like
the crowd
literally
is
just crowd plus game. Is
oh my god! I
concept.
feel like it'd be so hype to see like RIP Armada, but like Mango Armada Grand Finals, and it's just game audio and crowd. I feel like that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
It's amazing.
No one's tried it before. I'm gonna become a TO.
I think Twitch can incorporate a way to add viewers for anyone restream to the original stream's views. Man, I've tried for things like that, but point is, I think things like that can be done regardless. And I'm telling you this right now. For me, any event I ever host, restreaming, anyone can restream it. I don't give a crap about the views. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Twitch tournament streams get any money as it is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ooh, my main stream gets 300 less views because KJH just restreaming it. I don't care. Like, I do not care. I think it's good for the event. I think it's good for the scene. Kalindi, you have a ball.
Yeah.
Like, I literally will never care.
Yeah, in the same way. I agree.
Is Produce Smash in here? Produce Smash.
Are they here?
Yeah, it's just because you guys were the first on top of mind, dude. Like, I love y'all. I actually think you guys are fucking awesome.
Oh my god, they just subscribed. Fruit Smash, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub.
You guys are awesome.
There was like nothing bad said about you.
Nothing bad was said. Nothing bad was said. We were just bringing up, like, as a general rule, something about streaming. Why? Because I love y'all. That's why. I want to give you guys a shout out. How about that?
I'm sorry.
You guys are great. You guys are actually awesome.
It's for the greater good. The example is for the greater good.
It's for the greater good.
He said he get nothing bad, but why us? He said he was just you're the first person that came to his mind.
Top of mind, dude. All I'm thinking about when I go to sleep is produce Smash. If we're not streaming on YouTube in 2019 with Ultimate's release, we were making a huge mistake. There's some people who are doing it, for sure. I mean, look, I work at Twitch, but I'll be honest with you, I work for Smash Brothers. So, what I like any way to grow the game. If you think that's a good way to grow the game, Midnight Lifter, you would do what you do, man. And definitely advocate for it.
I've never seen a YouTube stream. Still haven't.
Yeah, I mean, like, it hasn't been so big, but there is a platform there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's better for certain regions for sure. So, like, Twitch sure is huge in the West for the most part, and other places, but like, OpenRec is big in Japan. And Twitch is too, but OpenRec is big in Japan, or so is Nico Nico. Or you can look at other platforms like YouTube just has better service for like a lot of Southeast Asia. So, you know, sometimes that region watches that platform more, or like Africa and Korea, or like, you know. So there's ways to hit those markets a little bit better than Twitch. So, and I don't think it's a wrong idea necessarily.
So Peru said they submitted their channel to VGBC's forum. Apparently VGBC has a forum for this. I didn't know that. But they don't want to compromise their non-esports commentary. I see.
Non-esports commentary. I see. I mean, look, man.
I get that.
But I also get that if no one watches the non-esports commentary, does it matter? It's like, you know, what difference does it make, sort of?
It's true. I see it.
Yeah, but I mean, VGBC is like not esports at all, so I wonder what they think is esports. We pulled like 10 to 20. That's the problem, Produce Math. I know you take pride in those 10 to 20, but I want you to think a little bigger. That's all I'm asking for.
Cursing versus non-cursing. Yeah, that's pretty much what esports. I don't think you're allowed to curse on a VGBC.
I love everything about you, Produce Smash. I take a lot of pride. You're right. Yeah, you're right. See, I love everything about this. I love Smashers, dude. You guys are. We're the best. We're the actual gosh darn best.
I know. I can't believe I'm like, it blows my mind that I'm a part of this community, and it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
actually mind blowing.
It's actually so sick.
It's like it's crazy that so many things that happen throughout my days revolved around this community.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've dedicated my life, and you know, as long as my heart's beating, I'm trying to make sure that Smash is in a good spot. And it's funny because like, see, I don't know when that. I don't know if it was ever became a conscious decision, right? Like, when in my life did I decide that I'm dedicating it to this game? Like, I don't know. It never really happened. I never thought about it. And then I'm like, oh crap, I've actually spent like all my life.
I'm starting to feel like that now. It's like I said, like the whole reason I'm having like these discussions is because I was like, dude, I want to keep this game alive by any means necessary. I don't think it's gonna.
Dude.
Huh?
I literally built a resume that's the Smash guy, and you've built a resume as a Smash Brothers professional player.
I know. But it's not like I don't want to keep it alive for my own like personal gain. It's just like the community is just like.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like we want to keep it alive because it's the best. It's so the sickest game.
It's made like so many
Uh,
relationships through this community.
yeah, sickest community, sickest game. It's actually amazing. You know, and it's a hard time. Like, I've had plenty of people ask me like, why do you care so much, or what drives you? Like, I did, you know, I studied computer science in school. Like, I did a lot of like math, science, whatever, and um, I love all that stuff. I love doing all that. Like, I could very similarly put my different passions in some other career path or some other thing. And this is, you know, it's a video game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an esport, but I think I'm preaching to the choir to tell everyone that it's totally more than that.
Yeah,
It's totally
it's
more than
it's so hard to explain like what it is though.
that. Yeah, it is totally more than that.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So people are talking about as shrunk a bit, but we can grow again. I know it. Yeah, dude. Like we're literally gonna grow again in right now. Like 2019 is going to grow again, guaranteed. You just lock that in. But I think that um, the fact that we shrunk is not something we should ever take lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is something you should have alarm bells going off. You know, like when that kind of stuff happens, because um, that's the only way you stop it, right? Because for me, the the only difference between us in 2009 and 10 and like the super dead years in Smash and our most successful years is we as a community decided not to give up and decided to work hard
Mm-hmm.
and decided to like seriously back then I'm telling you I the general mentality in the scene was Melee's a niche game, we're never going to make it big, it's just a thing we do, us and our friends. Like sure there's tournaments, I'll go to one or two a year, but nothing's going to come of this and nothing will ever come of this. Like whenever someone tried to do something bigger, people always put it down. Like seriously, that was the pervading mentality. Thankfully, we're past that. But whenever you hear that sort of negativity, where people feel like, oh, it's inevitable, Melee can't last forever, or any of like just in general, like the negativity that goes behind putting people down for trying to make big things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that that mentality was the mentality that led us to failure, in my opinion. Like people literally didn't try because we told each other and convinced each other that trying was pointless.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
I'm seeing a few questions in chat. So we're probably going to reach like the end of this call, but are you down to do like some Q&A with chat for a bit?
I'm down.
For like 15 minutes or so? Okay. So if you guys have questions for Blur or me, you can just drop them in chat. I think he's reading chat. You're reading chat, aren't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have it open.
What if crews became standard? Oh, you have so many bad ideas. Oh, I see. When's the next SSS? Who knows?
Yeah.
Are you in charge of SSS?
Technically, I guess. I mean,
Technically.
I'm down. I've always been like, hey guys, if your SoCal guys want to take the series and do a good job with it, like go ahead. And I think Bro ran a few of them, and they were pretty good when he ran them. And similarly, like I started TMT right, and then handed it off like 8 times. I'm pretty honestly like as sad as it is that like the local scene hasn't in SoCal isn't as great as it was before. I'm still pretty proud of the fact that like it's been almost 5 years that I haven't lived in SoCal and TMT lasted this long.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And similarly, like a lot of the venues like Cal Poly Pomona, which the bigger Balk used and like a bunch of other events used, was a venue that I like brought into the scene. Or similarly, like you know a lot of different events and TO structures that I'm pretty proud of how that transition went. I just think that right now both that scene and the general scene, local leadership around the country needs to really wake up and improve.
Okay. I just saw 2 good questions. One from Sika saying, can we have a Discord for community input to help improve the scene? That could be really useful.
Sika, that's a great idea. I
Start it
think,
up.
yeah, start up, dude. I mean,
Send me
that's
the
always the answer,
send me the
right? Like,
invite.
Sika, dude, I we'll do it.
Next,
Um,
the next one is: do you think the meta is heading in a more unwelcoming and scary direction? You feel so many people watch but are too scared to try melee seriously. So I think that's where I come in and try and
Go ahead.
like help with videos and stuff like that and try and explain how the current meta works and how it shifts from like what it used to be.
I think Melee is being played cooler and more awesomer than ever. I think the meta is shifting and all that is like people are playing amazing, and I think Melee just keeps getting more awesome with every passing year. That's my honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I literally like watching the game more and more somehow, as people get better. So I think that's awesome, but I think that it is very intimidating, and that is it's going to continue to get more and more intimidating. So we have to do a good job about that.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what I want to. That's the role I want to take is trying to make melee like as least intimidating as possible. Getting into it.
Okay, I'm the Pie Loves You says the easiest way to get into team esport like Overwatch or LoL is for a good player to play with newbies and teach them directly. Think that can work in melee? So we used to do this stuff. It was called Pro Am doubles. Um, it worked really well. People loved it.
I've done that one time.
Yeah, I told you've done it at Juggle Guy event, right? Because I told them to do it.
No, it wasn't Joga. It was a Nebulous.
A Nebulous.
Mm-hmm.
Nebulous did it. I didn't know
Yeah.
Nebulous did
This was
it.
two
Okay,
years
well
ago.
there you go. They're pretty cool. Um, we used originally Pro Am became a format in MDVA back in the day. I don't remember who did it first, but Pro Am is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way of bringing people together. Actually, in one of the first Arcadians, that the format was for doubles was Pro Am. So I think most Arcadians when they run doubles now, it's like, hey, it's unranked teams going against unranked teams. But another alternative is, hey, we want the pros to be there to
Mm-hmm.
support the lower level players. So let's do Pro Am and make it so that's more of a matchmaking thing.
Yeah,
So
I definitely changed my view on like Arcadians. I'm gonna. I didn't go to the last one because I didn't like Arcadians at the time because
yeah.
it annoyed me that like our locals got like 20 entrants, but our Arcadian got like 100 plus. Cause it's just like, where are you guys?
Well, I mean,
Like,
it should in some ways it's annoying, but it should just like teach you something. What it should teach you is, okay, people aren't going to the local because the local format sucks. Like it does. We shouldn't be
yeah,
sticking to a format that sucks just because that's what we've done in the past.
uh huh,
The truth is, what we provide at that level to the people going to the event is just not that good. Telling someone that they have to play Kalindi first round when it's their first event is a bad idea. I will literally. That's just it's just it should be obvious to say,
yeah.
but it's just bad. So if we keep doing a bad idea over and over again, it's not going to help our scene.
Sometimes it's a bad idea. Some people are excited to
Yeah,
play
yeah,
Mango Round One. Some people are really
sure,
excited to do that.
sure. But in general, I think maybe not.
Bone said, "What would be a better local format?" Because our locals do amateur brackets, but like our locals compared to our Arcadians is like ridiculous.
I think there's a lot of ways of doing it. I've thought of a few ways. Um, man,
Yeah, sick could do it.
I'd have to break out the dissertation on the different formats I've thought of, but basically, um, you can you could do straight up just the bronze, silver, gold methods I talked about. You could do like TMT's format, which is a ladder format.
Mm-hmm.
You could do honestly just bringing round robin back also does a lot. If you're running a 20-man tournament, well, 20 is a little small, but let's say you're running a 60-man tournament, you're not doing round robin, you're probably messing up. Honestly, I know the top players will complain because they just want to like get through the tournament as
And that's
fast
why
as
you do
possible.
the gauntlet, the stream gauntlet.
Right. Right. Or maybe do the stream gauntlet for them or whatever. But the truth is that like round robin's good in some ways and it's useful. I think in tournament size of like 48 to 92 is like it's usually or maybe 32 to 92. Round
Mm-hmm.
robin might be optimal. Past 92, you kind of have to start thinking about something else. But um, It could be good. There's actually a lot of creative ways of doing it.
Um, Jisoo's in chat. She said, "Hot take, but what are your thoughts on VIP lounges and the whole like segregating top players, elites?"
So, I think that having an area backstage where the person on deck can be ready to play is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's awesome. And the reason why I think it's awesome is because I think it's just really hard to go into a big open venue and find whoever's next on stream, and it's just an easier way to wrangle players. However, that's not exactly what a VIP lounge is. That's more of just like a
Warm up.
on-call warm-up area. So I'm more down for warm-up areas, less down for hey, Levin's at this event, but he's actually not. No one's seen him all weekend.
Right.
Because he's in the area with, his own personal setup, snacks, a freaking bartender, and like in a massage room. Like,
Yeah.
no, that I'm less down with.
And the crazy part is you aren't exaggerating. I've seen all those things in top player lounges.
All those things have existed.
Yeah,
And all those
you're
things
not
have been
exaggerating.
superfluous
The
and a waste of money.
the EGLX VIP lounge was actually ridiculous.
Yeah, but I really do think that having a warm up area is necessary. Like there's too many people in the room. Finding your whoever's next on stream without giving them something to do, like it just doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have that warm up area.
Yeah,
It helps you manage your production. You
and
need that.
it's like I get what Jisoo's saying because she's saying she would be turned off from this like entering as a new player and seeing like this separation, and it's like the separation is happening because we got bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think that is important. I think like we talk about the social connections, like how to match make people. I think for doubles this is particularly important. Like how do we make those friendships as fast as possible? I know it sounds like such a almost philosophical thought, something that like is kind of outside the bounds of Smash Brothers, but it's really not, right? Because I think you can make formats, styles, and things kind of like I talk about with Pro Am, which encourage social connections. If you set out and think about, hey, social connections are what drives repeat tournament attendance,
mm-hmm.
then optimize for it, right? And find ways to optimize for it because it's actually totally possible.
Yeah, I'm open to these ideas to try them, and it's like I hate teams, but if we're at a point now where it's like we need to take advantage of the state that may like the Smash community is in right now and make the best of it, I would be down to try something like this.
Yeah, dude, team matchmaking, man. I love teams. I think it's sick, but regardless of that, I think that um you know, Smash is way more fun when you have someone in your corner, when you feel like you're not alone, when you have friends, when you have someone who's sharing in the journey and is hyped for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so yeah, it's actually really important we find ways to increase those social connections, and teams is part of that. So is crews, right? Having it be a lonely island where you're just a single competitor going 0-2 sucks.
I agree, and yeah, like GC said, it's not a black and white thing. Um, yeah, and again, I need to know these issues because they're not issues to me, and that being said, like I'm completely ignorant and unaware of these issues. It's like I walk into a tournament, I go to the VIP room, just like I think nothing of it. But like as a newcomer, it looks kind of it doesn't look welcoming. I completely agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been guilty of it too, where like I look back and I'm like, oh damn, I've spent the whole weekend not
Mm-hmm.
talking to someone I don't know. Like the whole weekend I talked to just my friends, and maybe I don't spend the whole weekend in the VIP room, but I go there for a bunch, and then I, go behind the stage and I do the whole thing. And sure, like look, I'm a TO, so like a lot of that's just like part of what I'm supposed to be doing, and making sure things are going on time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's really important for anyone, not just players. If you're a community member, to talk to players and make them feel good, and make it awesome. Like one of the things I always try to do at my SoCal locals, back when everything was a lot smaller, was I literally said hi to every person in the room and had like a conversation with them. The first like hour and a half of my tournaments, and this sounds like horrible tournament organizing,
Mm-hmm.
was often literally making the rounds and talking to everyone, seeing, making sure they feel good, like literally just like saying what's up. Um,
You got to start TOing again.
yeah. So, I mean, everyone's got their own style, but I think the style I tried to implement was always just like trying to TO with love and make everyone feel like as the TO, I genuinely appreciate them being there on like
Mm-hmm.
a personal level. Like, and so I did that literally every time. It was the first hour and a half plus. I would just go around and say what's up to everybody
Yeah,
and have a real conversation even.
I agree. Puff Legend is saying it should just be a spot for practice and maybe food. And it's like I think a tournament that did that very well was Smash Valley, and Khalil ran it. And I don't know if it actually was a VIP section. And again, this is ignorant of me because I just walked back there because I know I could. But it was just an open room, and there were just setups and snacks in there, and it didn't look like it was being like it was cut off from anything. But I think those like instead of VIP rooms, I think those are definitely the way to go if possible. The venue also has to allow it, like realistically, like a tournament like Big House. I don't think you could have done that. Like they needed the back room for those setups. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tournament organizer. I don't know how that would work. It was a VIP section. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
Sika says,
Whoops.
from 2013 to 2010, I felt like people were actively talking how to improve the scene. I'm not sure why, but maybe you can answer this, but it felt like people stopped caring.
Maybe they
So
got
I could,
complacent.
so it was different. So I think here's what I would say, Sika, and this is something you can see if you watch my video. It's more of it's less of a complacency issue. Maybe it was a little bit, but more so that they got pulled in to do other things. Like let's say for me for example, in 2018, my most of my time in esports and my job was not spent on Smash. And I'm telling you guys that honestly. Like I spent more of my time hosting stuff for other esports and doing other things that like just because my job description was starting to change. And similarly, a lot of the leaders you're talking about either got hired by an esports arena, a Smash EG, a whatever what have you, and so there was a natural brain drain in that respect. So it's more like they got pulled away from Smash like because they succeeded, and there wasn't a generation to replace that. And I don't think there necessarily will be. I think the solution to that is that someone and I'm more than willing to volunteer needs to make the sacrifices that are necessary to stop pursuing maybe their personal career and start pursuing what's best for Smash because I don't think that particular problem gets solved without some sacrifices.
Okay, we need more community leaders. Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
All right. Last few questions. I do have my last class in the morning, so I gotta get to bed soon. I didn't expect to stream this long, but this has been very productive. So let's do like two or three more questions, something like that. And I'm also down to do this like again. Bones. All right, Bones said I've seen him say this. I've always missed it though. Can Twitch implement some financial incentive for streamers to allow restreaming?
I wish Bones, but right now it's not a thing. It's not planned to be a thing. I've wanted something like that for a while, but I think more broadly, I think just for TOs, it's really not that big a deal. It doesn't really cut into almost anything, any part of your revenue, and it's really good for the community and your event. So please stop being such sticklers about it. That's really all. Like it's not that big a deal. So even though I think a feature like that, I wish it exists, it doesn't need to exist for us to restream. It's too important not to do.
Okay. Blair, how do we get more meaningful matches at the local level?
More meaningful matches at the what? Sorry, I didn't
At
hear
the
that.
local level.
Okay. I think it's about making every match matter. Like I said, like if we build on the philosophy that every match needs to matter, and not in just like a, in a structural sense, we need to make it so that every match matters. Then we move forward. I think it's a structural like. I think if that win or loss doesn't get carried on your permanent record, so to speak, and it doesn't get added into your value as a smasher, and it's not like a real match that means something, then it doesn't really go anywhere with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's really why, like, for someone, people say, oh, go to a tournament, that's where you go prove yourself, but it's all kind of BS, right? Because what's really the difference between net play and going to a tournament? Sure, the answer is latency, right?
Yeah,
That's the number one difference, because if you're a Joe Schmo who's not very good, no one's gonna know your tournament results anyway, man.
dude.
And people are actually going to know your net play rank more than they'll know your
Yeah.
results. So it's not exactly like you're building a resume here.
Um. So I was talking with Ginger about this. I think it was Ginger, like last week or so, where um I was saying like we need to replace locals with weekend tournaments.
Mm.
Because the thing is, I feel like we're at a point now where there's so many weeklies where people don't even care if they lose or if they win because they can just play them again the next day or the day after the next. There's
So
no I like when I was playing, there was like no greater like feeling than like maybe losing a local and then training all week for the next like Saturday local or something like that.
I think you are very right, but I'd like to rephrase what you said.
Okay.
So, um, you're talking about the problem of saturation. This goes like to the large scale, as in like the majors and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. What we really need is not for those Tuesday tournaments to end. That's fine. They're beautiful. They're Tuesday tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
But what we really need is for there to be a difference between the Tuesday and the Saturday tournament, a
Yeah, and I
meaningful one.
think that's what messed up Michigan Melee is that we started counting the like Tuesday, Wednesday tournaments for the PR.
See, so what you're saying is, and this is around the same time. We need to make the weekend ones matter more, so that people want to attend more, and
Yeah,
and there needs to be an actual functional difference between those two events, like on a practical level. And in general, what you're speaking to is that we need to incentivize the consolidation of a region and also the localization of a region. So I think it's great that, if there are more tournaments now than ever, and if you want to go to a tournament, you could probably drive to one within 20 minutes.
mm-hmm.
But I also think it's awesome when larger regions get together, like on a once a month basis, for example, or once every or bi-weekly basis, to like throw a banger,
Yeah,
right? So both are good, and they're both just different tiers of events. Unfortunately, that tier, which is like the premier local tier, like the big local tier, has kind of died off, right?
yeah,
Like Smash, I think you can pretty easily like bucket into like 5 tiers, which is like the premier events. This is like the Genesises, the like major events, which are like events that are like pretty big, like the LTCs, low tier cities or something,
mm-hmm.
pretty big, but they're not like absurd. And then there's like another tier which are like regionals and like big stuff, like which is like Fight Pit or what
Yeah,
have you. And then there's another tier which is premier locals. These barely exist anymore, but they did at a time.
and
And then
then
there's the final tier which is the weeklies.
weeklies. Yeah,
We need all those tiers to be healthy and good to be successful, and those the premier locals are really important for that.
mm-hmm. Definitely agree. We're Ginger's trying to work on bringing that back because I can't. The fact that I can't even tell you the last time Michigan has had like a Saturday. Well, okay, never mind. There was one, but it was during Summit, so I couldn't go. But before that, it's been like a month or two, I think. And the fact that I say I think, like I'm not even certain of it, is like kind of whack. Because like I used to know if there was a Saturday tournament because I'd be there.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I
Thank you for
think
the
that
bits. I appreciate it.
these the getting premier locals back again is a huge thing. Like I frankly like sure you make money going to the Tuesday tournament with 20 entrants, but you're gonna get to a point where you don't even want to go to that because you're just like I'll make more money streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big danger, right? Once you start losing that, you start losing even more.
Okay. Our last question, I guess. Do you see this one? I think it's added at you.
uh, Getting people like Leffen, Music King, maybe Zero, people who currently have a big influence over Ultimate fans, getting them to promote Melee things or playing melee net play, but showing the stream would be so helpful. Um, yeah, dude.
Leffen
Like,
said he would. Back
oh, he
when before Ultimate came out, Leffen said that he would end his stream with Melee to show all the new kids.
he definitely will. I
But
think
I don't blame him for like just streaming Ultimate like 8-10 hours a day. I don't blame him at all. He's doing really well.
Um, we I think like for Ultimate, me and the big streamers, we all talked and basically were like, hey guys, we all need to like grind Ultimate at the beginning. I mean, not me actually, but like just generally coming up with a stream plan of like what do we do on release.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully they're all been running with it. Yeah, Leffen's helping build his audience so that he's you guys know he cares about Melee a lot. So I totally think what you're describing is going to happen. Maybe hasn't happened in the first 5 days, but
yeah, like I don't think there's a problem with it right now.
Yeah.
And I think Leffen should keep doing what he's doing.
People are talking about MIOM Melee discussions and like things like that. Commentators curse. Yeah, I think it's gonna be important. I think it's important. Man, see, it's hard for me because I don't know what the audience is for this sort of stuff. Like that SWAT video. I think a lot of people have talked to me about it. But I never know how much people care or want to see this stuff. And I know the people who are currently watching care. But I do like talking about it. I really care a lot. So I feel y'all.
Okay. All right. I think that was a good place to end it on.
Yeah.
That was a good discussion. Let me know what Smash Guru says and if he's trying to work on something together.
Hell yeah, man.
So message him. Again, like, thank you for coming on this and talk. Because, like, I was getting kind of lost. I was just, like, taking chat feedback and, like, going from there. But I think we moved in a, like, good direction tonight.
I feel you, man. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go. But,
okay.
Great talk. I'm happy, dude. I'm happy you're talking about how to grow the scene. That's a beautiful thing, Kalindi.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys.